Hey, so this is another part to my video about writing in a new genre and writing my psychological thriller and everything. So when I first started writing in the psychological thriller, I wasn't into it and I doubted myself a lot. This is another piece of advice that I have for anybody who wants to write in a new genre, is not to doubt yourself, and I'll expand more on this later, but I didn't think I could do it because of the mind games in a psychological thriller is all very complicated. So I just didn't think I could pull it off, and yet I'm at that point where the mind games are going good and it's believable and I feel like it's good and I'm actually confident in what I'm writing, which is weird because I'm not a confident person like that. So don't doubt yourself and really give it a try. And the other piece of advice for trying a new genre is that you may not, like, I outlined several different psychological thrillers before I came to this book, so it may take you several different books before you find the one that is the one that you like in that genre. So don't give up just because you're not into the first book in a new genre that you outline. Outline several different more ideas in that genre and just keep trying. Anyways, I gotta cook dinner. That's all I had for now, so I'll explain more on this later. More in my psychological thriller. So the other things that I wanted to mention was the old saying of practice makes perfect is actually really true. It may be cliche, but it actually is true. The more that you write in a genre, the more comfortable you'll get in it, and the better you will get at writing it, the more you'll get to know it. Like, that's why our comfort genres, the genre that we primarily write in, that's why we're so comfortable with it, is because we've probably been writing in those genres for years. I've been writing fantasy for years and years and years, but there was a time in my life when I only wrote contemporary, like teenage dramas, and I had to take the plunge and start and write my first fantasy. I didn't get it right the first time or the second time, but over the years I've gotten really, really good at it to where that's my area of expertise. And so the same thing works with psychological thrillers or any new genre that you want to start. And like I said before, you're not going to find, like, the first book that you try to write in the genre may not be the book in that genre that you actually love. It's probably not going to be perfect. I outlined several books before I found this particular one, The Man in the Cellar, the idea for this book that clicked with me, that finally clicked with me and got me to jump into the genre. I dabbled in several different concepts and ideas before I landed on the right one. So you may have several different ideas in a new genre, but you may not land on one that clicks with you. The first idea that you get for a new genre that you're writing in, let me say this straight. The first story idea that you have in a new genre may not be the one that clicks with you immediately, so you may have to run through several different ideas before you get to the one that will click with you and help you write that genre. Like I said, I went through several before I landed on this one, and I even started a different one. I'm cooking dinner, so that's why there's sound and stuff. Anyways, smells so good, by the way. But yeah, it may not be the first one, but the important thing is to take the plunge, as I said, and the advice that I gave you guys earlier. Take the plunge right in a new genre, and the more that you do it, the better and the easier it'll get, the better you will get at it, and the easier it will become. And don't doubt yourself. Like, your first book in this new genre may be a mess. It may not be perfect, and it may not be exactly what readers in the genre are wanting, but the fact is that you wrote it. The important thing I always tell people is to get the story out of your head. Writers have struggled so much with procrastination and fearing writing it perfect, but you don't have to write it perfect. Let the words just come onto the page and let it be a word dump for you, just to get it out, just to try it. And I promise you, the next time it'll get easier, the next time it'll get easier, and it'll keep getting easier. That's what an editor is for. So honestly, just write the story and you can edit it and get it polished and fixed and more like according to the genre later on. But the important thing is to get the story out of your head and to write the book and try the new genre. So this is another tip added to my tip video about writing a psychological thriller. So this is true for writing a psychological thriller as well as writing in a new genre, and writing any book. It is okay to change things as you write. So this is more a piece of advice that applies more to plotters. If you're a pantser or an improviser, you kind of write the book, you improvise as you go. So you're kind of figuring things out as you go. But for somebody like me, I plot things out in meticulous detail. Like, I have had plot outlines that were 15 to 20,000 words, if not longer, before. And that is not an exaggeration. I still have the outlines and can prove it if I need to. And so for me, I write out each chapter very, very detailed, scene by scene, what's supposed to happen, who says what, like everything is pretty much written out for me already. It's just expanding it into details that I do when I'm writing a book. And that's why I write so fast, is because I've already got the hard part and a lot of the details out. I'm just kind of writing out the scene and expanding upon my outline. So for me to change things up, it's a very odd thing. And I feel sometimes very rigid where I have to stick to the outline, but it is okay, especially with psychological thrillers, if you want to change up the twist, if you want to change how the ending is. Like, I've went through several different ideas for what I could do as the midpoint twist and what I could do as the ending twist and how the book could end. I have like 3 different endings off the top of my head, and tonight I rearranged my outline. I got to chapter 29 and 30, and it was originally chapter 29 or 28 actually, and I split it into 2 different chapters, so that became 28 and 29, and then I outlined the book from chapter 29 forward to the end, to chapter 50, and then I went back and added a few extra scenes to the end of 28, and then a little bit in the middle of 29. So it's okay to like change things up and to change up the details. And if your plot twist in your psychological thriller, especially, like, if you may not come to your plot twist immediately, and you may go through several twists before you find the right one. And especially the ending, because the ending twist and the ending scene has to have that punch, that thing that takes your reader's breath away. It may take you a while to find that. And as of right now, like, I think I have a twist, but I don't know if it's good enough or not. And I have like 3 or 4 different possibilities of what I could do. And it's okay to change that up and to keep working at your story. And even in the editing phase, you may add scenes or take away scenes or add more than to what's there. Like, you don't have to get it perfect. Editing Joanna here. So I was editing this video way in the future after I've already finished writing The Man in the Cellar, the psychological thriller. And I thought of something else. I was talking about the ending. When I actually wrote the actual ending, I mentioned, and just you guys were watching a few minutes ago, I mentioned that I had 4 or 5 things that I could do for the ending, and I think I know what I'm doing, but I don't know for sure. Well, when I actually got to writing the ending, the scene was completely random, and it was not any one of the 4 or many possibilities that I'd gone through. It was completely and totally random. In the moment I was writing, I got a feeling from one of the characters and I rolled with it, and it was not any possibility that occurred to me in any of my planning. It was just, it came to me and it was completely random, but it worked. And I really like the ending scene and the final ending twist. So I just wanted to say that. And even in the editing phase, once you finalize your first draft, it's not finalized yet. That's what the editing process is for. When you do developmental edits, you can delete scenes, add scenes, rewrite scenes. That's okay. And if you have to change up the twist in the editing phase, that's fine too. Do not be afraid if you're writing a psychological thriller or a new genre or writing a book in general. Don't be afraid to work at it and change up the book as you go along, and to keep improvising and working as you go. Even especially for us plotters, you can have the plot completely outlined and still change things up. You can tweak the actual outline if that makes you comfortable. That's what I do. I don't actually tweak the book. I tweak the outline and my notes, or I keep my old outline. I start a new document. I copy and paste my notes, and then I feel comfortable rewriting them and adjusting them as I want to. So yeah, that's just another tip that I have for anybody writing in a new genre or writing a psychological thriller, or even if you're just writing, like, that's something else that I've learned from writing the psychological thriller, is allow yourself the freedom to change ideas and to go through several different twists and endings until you find the right concept for your story. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this second and final part to I wrote a psychological thriller, and this is what I learned. I hope that you guys did actually learn about writing in a new genre and what it's like to write in a new genre. And again, like I said at the beginning of part 1 last time, I dare you, take the plunge, write in a new genre, write to get it out of your head, and just have fun with it and write it for yourself first. And just have fun with it, and don't worry about all the nitty-gritty details or anything like that. Just have fun. And if you liked this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And in the meantime, if you liked this advice, this series about writing a psychological thriller, then check out my video about writing a romance and all the great elements it takes to write a romance. Trust me, I love romance, but psychological thrillers always make them end badly. And if you want to learn how to write in a new genre, check out my tip video on how to write in romance, because it's really fun.